I gave this game a day to figure it out, kind of diffuse it, even run through it again, and even now, I'm still two minds about it. On the one hand, I do think the Avs absolutely deserved better in the result, but deserve doesn't mean a whole lot. The end result does, and the Avs didn't have that killer instinct. They didn't go out and earn it. Maybe earn is the wrong word, but they certainly didn't have the killer instinct to go out and finish things before it got bad. Avs lose to the Dallas Stars 5-2 in Game 2 of Round 2. I do believe the Avs were the better team for the majority of this game. The problem is, the majority is not all. The first period was absolutely the Stanley Cup winning Avs. That team that showed up for those 20 minutes can beat anyone, anywhere, anytime. The problem is they can't play like that for a full 60. Honestly, no team can. They completely dominated the Stars in the first, outshooting them 20-6. I mean, that's just absurdity. The Stars got made to look like Arizona in the first period, and you have to give some Stars some credit. They're absolutely not the Arizona Coyotes. The Avs just looked that dominant. That didn't take long for the Avs to draw a penalty out of Dallas, and they were able to convert to get on the board first. Off the start of the power play, the Avs get a puck in deep, and Kadri just tries to go back to the point with this one. It's not clean, but it gets through, and Makar is able to settle it down. And then we see 2 plays of amazing patience from the Avs. Makar recognizes a man charging toward him fully committed, so he just chips the puck up off the wall to keep it in and gets it to McKinnon. This essentially creates a 5-on-4, or rather turns a 5-on-4 situation into a 4-on-3 for a minute, and maybe even a 5-on-3 as Makar is going to beat his man back into this play. McKinnon quickly gets the puck across to Rantanen into space, and this is where the patience comes again. Rantanen allows the play to develop, gets Dallas to commit to him, opening up space in the center of the ice for Nathan McKinnon to slide into, and then he just puts maybe the best pass of the Avs season on this one, a thing of absolute beauty. Look, Nathan McKinnon is absolutely the superstar of this hockey team, but this pass is just a thing of beauty. Look at how much sauce he gets on it, first of all. That's got some hang time on it, right up around the knees, and it still comes down, sauces across, lays pretty much flat for McKinnon to get all of it and snipe it. If nothing else, the Avs' top line absolutely has shown up in this series. And therein lies the problem. For the second game in a row, the Avs' top line was the only line that showed up. There were some solid shifts from the depth in the first period. You have to have a few to outshoot a team 20-6. But through the majority of the game, the bottom 9 just didn't do enough, and for most of it, were invisible at best. The other complaint about those 20 shots is I do think the Avs fell into Dallas's trap a little bit. They took too many shots from just non-dangerous areas, the way Dallas wants to play, and the Avs didn't really do a ton. They did enough throughout the game. I do think they got a good amount of quality opportunities, at least out of that top line, but certainly the depth lines, they were just relying on defensive shots that are not going to go in very often. And that was the only goal of the first, so while the Avs dominated, not a ton to show for it. Still, you have to think the Avs feel pretty good after a period like that. Dallas does push back a little bit at the start of the second, but the Avs weather it pretty handily, to be honest, and then they start to control play again. After the Avs kill off a penalty early in the second, Joe Pavelski straight up spears Nathan McKinnon, and the Avs go back to the power play themselves. It was a dirty play, and it felt like there was some justice in this game at that point because the Avs capitalize. A clean face-off win here, and the Avs eventually work it down to Nathan McKinnon in the corner. That's just fine. I'm perfectly happy with this setup, particularly because they've moved Nathan McKinnon around. Where did he score a goal on their first successful power play? Up in the high slot. Now all of a sudden he's behind the net. You're giving Dallas a ton of different looks here, and Nathan McKinnon decides to just do Nathan McKinnon things where he beats every defenseman coming towards him, gets in behind the net, creates space not just for himself, but for his teammates, and eventually finds Rantanen in the circle. Rantanen's favorite spot on the ice. He finally pulls a good trigger here, makes a great shot, and the Avs go up 2-0. All right, press pause right there. The Avs got 2 goals from their Stars. They're up 2-0 with roughly half the game left to go. That's a game that the Avs should win the vast majority of the time. It's a game any team should win the majority of the time, but even for as good as the Avs are, it's gotta be a very, very high percentage. And I do think the Avs probably win this game in most situations. Certainly if there were no referees on the ice, I think the Avs absolutely win this game. Now, I'm not saying the Avs specifically got jobbed by the refs or anything like that. Dallas had some bad calls on them or some bad calls on the Avs, and things went back and forth as far as the reffing in this game to a certain extent. However, I do think the refs had a significant impact on the game, and I think they did a hatchet job of it. If you want details where you break down everything that comes into these next two penalties on the Avs, check out the DNVR Avalanche podcast. We go into it in depth here. My problem isn't necessarily with the penalties themselves, it's with the inconsistency. I guarantee you no player on that ice by the end of the second period had any idea what the refs were and were not calling. In the second round of the playoffs, that is simply not acceptable. The end result is, after going up 2-0, all of the Avs' momentum gets completely drained, and they're suddenly on a 5-on-3 penalty kill. To no one's surprise, the Stars score on that. I'm going to turn to this one. We'll just play it through. The Stars work it down low on the near side, and the Avs just don't quite cover their passing lanes well. Sagan cuts through and kind of pulls both Belmar and Nieto to him, leaving a bit of a seam open. Graves trying to cover it, but he also has to manage the man in front. It's just what happens on 5-on-3 sometimes. The pass gets through clean from Radulov across to Pavelski, and it ends up in the back of the net. Just no chance for Francouz on that one. So, a very unfortunate turn of events there. The Avs end up giving one back to Dallas off of some pretty chintzy reffing, but that is what it is. The Avs still have a 1-goal lead. They can kill the rest of the next penalty. They're still in control of this game. And this is where the issues crop up. The momentum is a big deal, and the Avs could not stem it, as all of a sudden Dallas was just completely rolling, and the Avs looked like they were totally gassed. And then the game gets tied. Avs playing weirdly aggressive with their forwards on this penalty kill. You'll see Donskoy out up high here, Dallas content to just work it down along the half wall and in deep, and the Avs don't really challenge them there. They just let them have the puck, which just kind of weird that they're obsessed with covering the point. That continues as this cross pass gets through. Would have loved to see Comfer pick it off. He gets close but can't quite do the job. And then he just takes off. Just completely heads towards the point for no apparent reason, especially because Dallas has 4 guys pretty deep in the zone here. Why are they so obsessed with covering the point shot? Giving up a point shot, you have to give up something on the power play. The shot from very far away might be the one you want to give up. But they don't want to, so the shot comes in from here, and it gets all the way through, and chaos ensues. You'll see, partially, because the Avs forwards are out high. 4 Dallas Stars in behind the Avs forwards on their own penalty kill. Can't really have that. The puck rattles around in front. Frankie gives up a huge rebound initially. Zadorov can't really clear it. See here. Graves also a bit too far away. Can't come and help with the rebounding. Second chance, Frankie makes the save. Third chance, it finally goes in. Graves just now arriving to the scene. You're not playing that well. I mean, sure, Dallas got the seam pass through, but there wasn't that much movement on that play. The Avs just got caught wandering all over the ice. And then there's the Francouz thing. Look, he made a couple of good saves on that, credit where credit's due, but at the same time, his rebound control wasn't great, and he was extremely scrambly, which essentially opened up half of the net for Faxa to put the puck into. I'm willing to give that a bit of a pass on this one, because Zadorov and Graves just have to find a way to clear that puck. You cannot let them get 3 chances in front. Graves, I don't even know where you are on that play. Z, you just got to get a stick on it. One or the other. Do something. And just like that, in less than a minute, it's a brand new game, 2-2. Some of the nonsensical reffing continues, though, and the Avs get their own crack at a 5-on-3 a bit later, which they fail to score on the 5-on-3. But they get a great opportunity at 5-on-4. Nathan MacKinnon coming down, has a chance to score, beats Anton Khudobin clean. Khudobin even thinks he scored. You can see his head drop and he goes, dang, he beat me, basically. And then it rings off of the crossbar and does not go in the net. Post number 15 in the playoffs for the Avs. A bad bounce by the Avs is met a bit later with a good bounce for the Stars, and all of a sudden, a games where the Avs controlled is now getting decided by absurd bounces. Goal happened so fast that NBCSN even missed it on the live, so great job there, NBCSN. But Jamie Benn has the puck on the near wall and just throws it to the middle. The Avs play good defense. First of all, this puck is bouncing and off the ice. And this right here is Sam Girard's stick. He gets his puck on this pass and deflects it. So Dallas isn't going to get a quality scoring opportunity out of this. But it bounces off his stick directly up hits Radulov in the shoulder neck area, bounces off of his shoulder and up into the air, where nobody knows where it is, not Radulov, not Girard, not Francouz. It's above all of their heads and floating directly into the net. I mean, come on. And that right there, the Avs deserved better. They had been the better team for the vast majority of this game up to that point. They had been in control for most of the game. Yes, they gave up a bad 5-on-3. They gave up some momentum to Dallas, and Dallas got back in this game, reffing or not. But that's some bull. And you know what? Hockey does not care at all. The sport can be extremely cruel. It has no feelings. Sometimes the puck bounces in strangely. And this time, it didn't go the Avs' way. Had the Avs found a way to score 3 goals before all this, it likely never even happens, and the Avs probably cruise to a win in this game. Hell, if they put in a couple in the first, just found a way to get that next one, honestly, the Avs are looking at a 1-1 tied series. Instead, they're looking at a pretty big hill to climb, but this game wasn't over. It was still a 1-goal game at that point. The Avs were very capable of scoring one more goal here. The problem is, as the second period wound down, while I don't think the Stars dominated, the Avs finally made that real crucial mistake. So Sam Girard has already failed to get a shot through completely here, and the puck winds over on Donskoy's side. And check out Donskoy completely whiffing on this puck. Here's Donskoy's stick. You see that right there between his legs? Yeah, that's the puck. That's pretty bad. Not good news right there. Ended up losing the foot race on the way back after he turns the puck over to Esa Lindell and even falls over to turn what would have been a 2-on-2 into a 2-on-1. Bad. From there, Lindell just takes the shot. Francouz, I'm not going to lie to you, this should be a pretty routine save. He makes the save, which is good, but then just falls over. I can't find any rhyme or reason as to why he falls over, but he does fall over. All of a sudden, the puck is loose, and Francouz has no movement. He's just lying there. Lindell crashes, fires the puck into the net once, twice, 3 times, and then celebrates. There was certainly some controversy around this goal. It had to be reviewed. I'm 99% sure that the puck did, in fact, go into the net, and from that regard, it was a goal, but certainly strange for 2 reasons. One, the ref who called it a goal, unless he has x-ray vision, could not have possibly actually seen it go in the net. And had he called it a no-goal initially, there's a chance that the no-goal call on the ice would have stood and this goal wouldn't have counted. That's a bit weird. I think it's strange how they ended up with the right answer to this and they didn't have the correct process, but I'm not going to nitpick that too much because, again, I think the puck went in the net. The problem is how the puck went in the net. Esa Lindell banging 2 and 3 times on Francouz's pad. You can see Francouz's pad clearly moves a little bit. Is that because Lindell is pushing it into the net? Would the puck have gone in the net if he didn't do that? I don't have these answers. Is that goaltender interference? Maybe. Flip a coin. I don't have that answer either, but man, just a lot of weirdness and a lot of tough luck for the Avs going around there. Even on a play where, look, I don't want to take away. The Avs played everything about that horribly. Maybe they deserved to get scored on. But still, they had to sprinkle some bad luck on top, just because that's how this second period went. Avs go down 4-2. The third period is hardly worth talking about. Dallas completely mucked it up. I do think the Avs did a decent job, but you can only do so much when a team is playing like that. They outshot them 9-3 in the period, just couldn't find the dangerous opportunities, and their power play dried up after it started the game hot. An empty netter makes your 5-2 final. Can the Avs play better? Well, certainly the bottom 9 forwards can, and there are probably some defense and goaltending issues that can be cleaned up, but at the end of the day, they could have easily won this game too. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it now, a day later? Do you think the Avs deserve to win this game, or is that 5-2 score fair? Let me know down in the comments. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. Head on over to thednvr.com for all of our Avalanche coverage. I am Rudo, and man, a game like that is just frustrating.
Avalanche time, come on, grab your friends. We're going to the playoffs again with Nate the dog and Gabe the big. The fun isn't over yet, it is Avalanche time.